Hi there. This channel is all about helping those 99% of gym goers who train multiple times a week, year after year, but never really see any material improvements in their real-world fitness or the way they look. It's not about making you feel inadequate or jealous of the 1% whose natural genetics and often unnatural special supplements make them into physical freaks. No, I want to empower you to go from getting only 10 to 20% of the available benefits of working out to constantly hitting more than 70%. The threshold at which your body is forced to build back better. So today's question is, what does getting fit actually look like real time? Or, put another way, how can you tell you're faking it or making it when you're working out? Well, before I go ahead and explicitly answer this most fundamental of questions, let me just say that I hope you've all had a chance to check out my previous series of gym training videos, aptly named Foundations of Fitness, which cover in great detail my evolutionary techniques for hitting muscles into the debilitation zone, the zone that will force your brain to order your body to rebuild torn fibers bigger and stronger than ever before. So, the most insightful way to explain what getting fit looks like is actually to tell you what it most certainly doesn't. So here I go. Firstly, as I see the vast majority of people at my gym doing, 8 seconds of crappily executed movements on a machine or with a bar, followed by 5 to 600 seconds of sitting staring at their mobile phones, is definitely not what fighting to attain your tip-top performance goals looks like. If this is you, you're wasting your time and youth. There is absolutely no way that a muscle will be commanded to build back better after such a miserable excuse for doing what it takes to climb the mountain of peak fitness. The only way to garner performance enhancements is to force a muscle to enter the debilitation zone, which simply put is from around 70 to 100% of what its full, true and absolute potential is. Moreover, to then go on and get the enormous benefits of compounding one set after another, you have to allow no more than 1 minute to pass between sets. As I mentioned, rest in for 5, 6, 7 or even more minutes in between a few seconds of inefficient exercising robs you of this powerful multiplier effect. The reason being, your body then has time to make temporary repairs on the muscle fibers that have been hit in the first set, few as they are for most people. And therefore, in the second and third, the very same broken muscle fibers are again used to move an external weight. Instead of, if you only leave a very short space of time in between, your body cooling up its reserve muscle fibers to engage with the force required, and so make them go from being intact to being intensively used. See episode 4, called Impressive 3D Muscle Gains, in my first series to fully understand what I'm saying here. Let me repeat an extremely insightful training comparison for you to help see exactly how harmful doing nothing for 95% of the time you spend in gym truly is. There are 2 identical twin brothers. They are told the following: you must run 1,000 meters a day and then do no further physical activity. At the end of the year, the one that manages to complete this distance the quickest will win £1,000,000, whilst the loser will have his legs blown off at the kneecaps. Clearly, there's an incentive, siblings as they may be, to be the fittest. Anyway, Twin A decides on a strategy where he runs 1,000 meters just as fast as he can and then is done. Finito. For the first 2 months, his times actually get worse and worse as his muscles and heart are put under huge levels of stress for which they are ill prepared. But then, bit by bit, he is able to complete the 1,000 meter distance faster and less arduously, until after the 8th month, his body has so improved thanks to the intensity of his training regime that he's now fit and strong enough to make the sort of gains he could only have dreamt of. Twin B, on the other hand, took a completely different strategy, a strategy that almost everyone I see daily opts for. He runs just 2 meters, then stops, sits down and plays with his phone for many minutes at a time. And he does this 500 times every day for a year. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, in this macabre competition, there's one more, even more tragic element. On the last minute of the last day, someone puts a gun to your head and asks you to say which of the twins will win the race. Guess right, and you live. Guess wrong, and, well, let's just leave it at that. So, the question for you to consider is not only what does getting fit look like, but how big is the difference between choosing the right and the wrong method? How much faster does Twin A run 1,000 meters relative to his brother? A little or a hell of a lot? So, back to the reason for this episode. I'm not here to tell you how to train. That's down to how much you want to succeed in life. Being ignorant and being stupid are polar opposites, at least in terms of potential outcomes. The information this channel offers allows you, and you alone, to decide which of these 2 traits best sums up who you are today and who you'll become tomorrow. Are you Twin A or are you Twin B? Okay, so let's just agree that getting fit almost certainly looks like Twin A's style of training. What else signposts whether you're climbing the mountain to greater heights of strength and endurance or are destined to remain in the fitness wilderness forever? Well, we can all agree that a supercar can't run, and certainly not at top speed, without burning huge amounts of fuel. The same is true of the body. You can't have truly worked a muscle into the debilitation zone if, at the end of a set, you're not breathing heavily. So, always check what your lungs are doing after every set. Are they frantically trying to replace lost oxygen burnt while forcing a muscle to get close to its maximum output? Or are they just breathing a little above normal for a very brief time in response to holding your breath while you do your 8 seconds of cheat training? See episode 8 of my Foundations of Fitness series called Oodles of Oxygen to learn all you need to know on this subject. Finally, are you one of those deluded people that even as they tell themselves they are training very well and thus micro-tearing huge quantities of their muscle fibers with each set they do, They are also somehow getting stronger and stronger in the process, as evidenced by the fact that they continually add weight with each passing set. This can't be. You need muscle fiber to do work. When you tear muscle fiber through training it into the debilitation zone, it must be that you become weaker in the short term. Being able to end a series of sets on your highest weight just confirms that you failed to truly damage any muscle fibers. So, getting back to my original question, you'll know when you're on the right path to peak fitness because you'll have to reduce the weights you use from the very first set. There's no avoiding this fact. That's it. If you want an honest answer to whether you've fallen into the trap of thinking that getting fit looks almost exactly like you sitting on your couch doing nothing, then these are the signs that will give it to you. Of course, just as important is the actual technique you deploy when you train. Ignore this element as well, and you arrive at the 10 to 20% return on your fitness investment I warned about at the very beginning of this video. But fear not, I have already done a number of videos that address how to incorporate my evolutionary techniques into your weekly training sessions. See, for example, how to do killer cable flies for the chest, or how to kill those puny calves. Now, go do the right thing.